Hey guys, Alex here, and today we're going to be doing my friend's Ancient Gear deck profile. Now, Ancient Gears aren't the best deck of the format, far from it. It is a fun deck to play, but it has its disadvantages. Like, if you're going first, if you're forced to go first, you don't really want to see certain... You don't really want to go first with this deck. You want to go second. You want to basically one-punch your opponent, ending the game. So without further ado, we'll get on with the deck profile. So I play 3 Ancient Gear Wyverns. On normal or special summon, you can add a Ancient Gear card from your deck to your hand. But you can't set spells or trap cards the turn you use that effect. And then in the battle phase, your opponent can't activate spells or trap cards. I then play 3 Statue. Statue basically just allows you to special summon itself when your opponent controls more cards than you do. And then basically you contribute it to summon an Ancient Gear Golem or a monster that lists Ancient Gear Golem. I then play 3 Commander. It gives you an additional normal summon. And then it also allows you to add... You can send an Ancient Gear monster to the graveyard and then gives you an additional normal summon. So it allows you to get to your plays a bit easier, more fluent. I then play 3 Tanker. Tanker basically allows you to get to normal summons, gives you an additional normal summon, and it also allows you to... Basically, you destroy one of your cards, gives all your monsters attack points, and allows you to get to everything that you need. I play 2 Ancient Gear Dark Golem. Ancient Gear Dark Golem on normal or special summon allows you to add 2 cards from your deck, to your hand that lists Ancient Gear in its card name. So any Ancient Gear card that you can think of, this searches it and then you discard 1 card. So you can basically search out anything in your deck, discard. But since you have to finish the chain, so you won't be able to add Ancient Gear box and then search. If you've discarded it, you can't just search again with the Ancient Gear box. You've got to keep the box in your hand, which is not what you really want to be doing. Then I play 1 Dragon. There is a case to play 2 or 3 of this, just so you can go into Nova and Infinity, but I think that's a bit overkill. You don't really want to go into Nova and Infinity. This is in here basically because it gets another body on board to get to your actual win condition, which is the Chaos Ancient Golem. 1 Gear Frame. It searches a discard a card. You can discard 1 card, add Ancient Gear Golem, or spell or trap card that mentions Ancient Gear Golem. So you can search Gear Town, Catapult, that kind of stuff. I played a 1 Hound. Hound's in here basically, but on normal or special, on normal summon, it burns you for 600. And then it's basically a polymerization, so it gets you to some of your extra cards. There there are cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Which basically act like polymerization, but they're mainly in like rogue or very bad decks. We've got Ancient Gear Hound in Ancient Gears. You've got Spiritualists in Gravekeepers. The list goes on and on with like monsters that become fusion effects. Yes, Ancient Gear Supernaturalist is a tank because it gains attack equal to the level of the monsters times 100 permanently on the field, basically. So if you use Spiritualist and I'm trying to think what the level 8 was. The level 8 that basically you can discard a card to protect it from being destroyed from the graveyard. That's an extra 1200 on the top of the 2000 it's already got as its base. So that's 32 plus the 500 that it gets from Necro Valley. So that's 3700 attack. So not a lot of decks can get over a 3700 attack monster. Like, not a lot of decks can get over a base stat of 4500. One box. Search statue. If it's added to your hand, you search statue. Then statue would basically allow you to get to another body. And then I play the one Therion, King Regulus. Going first, it's not the greatest. It's a good card because it's an Omni Negate. But at the same time, you want to be going second with this deck. This is just a go first option, but go second and still hurt your opponent for a lot of damage. Because it's just a big body that you can just special summon. And then the 3 Fulawas. Now, Fulawas, since this is a go second deck and it does brick a lot, Fulawas just helps you unbrick. And it also helps bait out hand traps as well, because Ash in the Catapult hurts this deck. So if you go second and you bait out a Multami Fulawas with the Ash, it's one less Ash Blossom that you've got to deal with. Now, Fulawas has gotten a lot cheaper since it first released. Fula now is around about, for the ones that I've got, the ultra rares here, they're about 15 from the Rarity Collection. But again, Fula isn't necessary in the deck, but it helps significantly a lot more. Onto the spells, we play 3 Gear Town. Gear Town just basically... Now, another card that you could probably play in this thing as well is Perulia. Again, it's another... But again, who wants to be paying 50, 60 quid for Perulia at the moment? And even though it's just gotten reprinted in the Mega Tin, it's still expensive. It's still quite expensive. So yeah, so back to the deck profile though. I play 3 Gear Town. You want to see this card in your hand. Basically, this card just basically says summon destroy it. If it's destroyed, you summon a card. But if you use so a fun fact and a ruling that you should know: if you use Ancient Fairy Dragon's effect to destroy this card, and you choose to add a field spell from the deck, you don't get the special summon, because Gear Town Destruction was not the last thing that happened in the chain. Because you search the because you searched the field spell, Gear Town wasn't the last card that was the last action to be action. Gear Town's destruction wasn't the last action. So just a fun reminder. With 3 copies of Gear Town, you play 3 Ancient Gear Catapult. This card is expensive for no reason. Yes, it's only had it's had 2 printing. It came as a super rare in the structure deck, and it came as a common in the Legendary Duelist 2 or 3, and it's never seen another reprint. But the super rares are like 8 to 10 quid each, and the commons are like 5-6 quid each. So Ancient Gear Catapult, you destroy one of your continuous spell cards. You can only activate it when you control no monsters. So you would activate Gear Town, then activate Catapult. Catapult target the Gear Town, destroy it. Gear Town would summon. This would then summon another card. Then you play 3 Advance. Advance just basically says your opponent can't respond with card effects. But it also searches a card from your deck. It searches a card on activation. So either your opponent's going to ash it, or basically, if it sticks around long enough, they're not going to be able to respond. So it's a way for them to just hit you for a lot of damage. Now I play 2 Ancient Gear Fortress. Two Ancient Gear Fusion. Now I've seriously considered cutting this down to 1, but again, it depends on what you're trying to do. Then you play 2 copies of Overload Fusion. Now, if we had Verte Anaconda, this card gets a lot better, and Cyber Dragons would see a lot more play. So would this deck, but so would a lot of other decks that require fusion summoning. A lot of people, if Verte came back, Dark Dragoon, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon would come back, and it would instantly ban Red Eyes. It would instantly ban Verte Anaconda again. So as long as Dragoon's about, this deck can't be. We can't have Verte Anaconda. I then play 2 Therion Disc Coliseum, potentially put, and then the final card is the 1 Call Boy. Now I could potentially take this out for the 3rd copy of Fortress, but I've yet to see the need for a 3rd Fortress. Onto the extra deck. Now the Exceeds, these 5 cards are cards that my friend who this deck is choice. So Dark Rebellion Dragon, basically target a monster that can be targeted, so it doesn't work on the Lunar Light Fusion and that kind of stuff, but gain half its attack points so you can beat over big things. Exciton Knight, again, there's a lot better cards in that you could be playing, but Exciton just basically nuke the board. Basically nuke board going second, and it gives you a way to out your opponent's board. Castal, again, another card that's been power crept, that used to be strong. Silent Tonarch, again, a card that used to be good. And then Time Thief Redoer. not really seeing much resurgence at the minute. There's just so much better cards out there. I then play 2 Chaos Ancient Gear Giant. Basically, this is your big guy. This is the payoff. You basically 4,500 attack something. Your opponent takes a lot of damage. Attack into and just piercing. Your opponent can't respond with spells or traps. It's unaffected by everything but monster effects. So unless you've gotten a way to get rid of this thing, you're going to put 9 times out of 10 you're going to be losing. 1 Megaton, 1 Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem, and then 2 Howitzer. Howitzer on summon, it can't be destroyed, it's unaffected by card effects. Basically, it's 1,800 defense. It burns you 4,000. And then basically, if it's sent to the graveyard, you can summon an Ancient Gear from the graveyard. But that's if it's destroyed by battle. I then play, onto the links, I play 1 Platinum Gadget, 2 Ballista, and the 1 Clearthought Genius. Platinum Gadget gives you an additional summon. You can't use it as link material. Ballista pops a card, reduces the monster to 0 and allows you to summon. And then gives you, if you can summon 2 monsters at the same time to the link arrows, which you're not really going to be doing with this deck. It's just a way to get bodies on the board. And now onto the side deck. Now side deck will change. Like, there's cards that I want to put in here now. But for the time being, this is what I'm playing. 3 Nibiru. Now Nib is alright into the meta at the minute. Against Yummy, if they go uninterrupted, they can get Herald of Arclight before 5 summons, which means they're just going to negate the Nibiru. Then against Mitsurugi, they get effects when they go to the graveyard if they haven't activated because they get tributed. Nib's good, but it's not the best right now. It's stronger against rogue decks. Against my Orcus Mitsurugi, if I've got all my Mitsurugi stuff on the board, and they nib me, I continue playing. Because I basically, not only do I wipe their board, because I can bring back Murakumo, but also I get like a lot of surgery, so I'm getting a lot of recursion, and then with the Orcus engine, I'm just getting loads of. With the Orcus engine, they might get the Orcus card into the graveyard, which is where they want to be, but then I've got them in the graveyard to just basically say, yeah, I continue playing. So, against certain decks, Nib's good, but it's better into Rogue than it is into the meta right now. I play 3 Imperm in the side. What can I say? Imperm's pretty good. Basically, you activate Imperm on the Yummy, the Herald of Arclight. They've either got to negate it, so you've got to bait out the negate, or they've lost their Macrocosmos for the turn, which means this deck is allowed to play and just basically hit you in for a lot of damage. Break your board, hit you in for a lot of damage. And let's just say this, it's not going to be a fun time for you. I then play 3 DD Crow. DD Crow is here because it just says, yeah. Against Mitsurugi, you can banish the Mirakumo. If you can banish both Mirakumos, they've got no recursion and that they're probably losing. But other than that, DD Crow's mainly in here just to stop plays. These cards here would change to the 2 Lightning Storms and a Harpy's Feather Duster. Basically, these cards are good, but it's only really good against. It's good against Yumi going first, but it's okay into Mitsurugi or Orcus. If they're playing pure Mitsurugi, then yeah, they're kind of screwed because they can't even get to their plays because they can't even activate the Habakiri. And then the final 3 of Solemn Strike. Again, this could be Ash Blossom, this could be a lot of other stuff. Like I said, I haven't really looked at this deck in a while, so I don't know what it... But yeah, that's the deck profile for now. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace out.